What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting rid of this guy right here. This is the original grill that came on my Blazer, and it's definitely seen better days. And you can either replace it with an OEM one, get one of those billet ones that look like it's straight from the 90s, and I'm not gonna do that. So without any welding and for under $100, I'm gonna build one myself, because at least that way I can choose the style and it'll be something that I like, and hopefully something that you guys can do on your own as well. Alright, now putting this together without welding, that's the trick. We're actually going to be using butane torch and some brazing rods. If you don't have access to a welder, or you're just not comfortable welding, this is a great option to use aluminum brazing rods, because it's kind of like the introduction to welding. This is only $4, and I don't even remember how much the butane was, but it wasn't super expensive either. And I got this a long time ago, and I'm only halfway through this bottle, if that. So if you haven't brazed before, learn. It's a good skill to have. But we're gonna be putting this together by brazing it, and it should be pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. But again, the second you say that, it takes 10 times longer. First off, there's a couple of issues we need to address. So my truck has some front end damage on both the passenger side and the driver's side on the fenders. I have replacement fenders for that, but we won't need to worry for what we're doing with the grill, because it's all in the center and there's no damage there. But we're gonna need to fabricate some mounting points and on the top and on the bottom, and take the measurements. Luckily, this is a long rectangle, so cutting it shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, before I actually show you the parts that I got to build the grill, we actually have to get it off, because that's going to be the easiest way to build this grill, get all the measurements and everything like that. Now, with these old trucks, there's a little bit of room for forgiveness. There's about 1/8 of an inch on either side of leeway, so if it's not perfect, it won't be the end of the world. We're going to get that off, and it should be pretty easy, which are the words that we all know bite you in the butt in the end. Alright, let's just get to work. Alright, so here is the old grill, and it's upside down. So here's the old grill. Super dirty. I tried painting it as a teenager, and we can see how that turned out. The biggest issue is going to be getting these mounts on there, but I'm not super worried. We got 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. If you guys are paying attention while I was taking it off, it was floppy on the bottom because none of those were connected, because they're broken, because front end damage. So it's a super basic shape. So basically we just need to make a nice pretty looking rectangle, and I got the parts for that behind me. Okay, so for the grill itself, you won't need these. These are just the headlight bezels. I really like the 83 to 84 look, so I'm going with that. What you will need is aluminum or steel if you want to do that. I'm doing aluminum because it's lighter weight and easier to do. And then the biggest piece that you're going to need is this stuff right here. This expanded aluminum is what's going to actually make this look nice. You can get the bigger diamond plate, which is what a lot of people like to go with. Honestly, I like the look of this one more. It has smaller openings. Surprisingly enough, the stock grill is actually pretty heavy for just being plastic, and just on materials alone, this so far seems like it's going to be a lighter option. And you know, on those old trucks it doesn't matter a whole lot, but you know, if you can save weight where you can, it's ideal. Alright, so if we look at this grill from end to end, we are looking at just under 50 inches. It's 49 3/4 long, and we're looking at 12 1/4 inch tall. So let's go ahead and get that knocked out. I had my aluminum strips cut down to 48 inches. So 4 feet, which means that basically gonna have to take this aluminum for the main support, this one for the top, and we're gonna be cutting this up to 12 1/4, and we're gonna be brazing right here. So let's get to doing all that good stuff. Alright, so now that we have these cut up, it's going to leave you about 2 feet, just under 2 feet of aluminum left if you cut out 3 4-foot sections to get the mounts done. But right now we're focused on the frame. Alright, so this is the basics of what we're doing with our frame. We're going to get out the grinder and we are going to put a groove right here and here, 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 and here. We're going to be putting in that groove, that way the brazing rod material actually sits in there nice and we get a smoother finish. That way we have less to finish afterwards, and so that makes a more secure hold, so we don't have to worry about the durability of this guy. Now as it sits, it's going to be a little bit longer than the stock grill, and that's just because we're not putting any of the bends in until the end, because I want to get that done at the same time. But right now we got to get that grinder out, and we are going to just put some grooves on here. Alright, we got all the grooves in here. Now we just need to get it set up to actually braze. You can do that with just a piece of scrap wood and some clamps. Because what we need to do with brazing is we need to heat up this metal. Alright, so we've got this in perfect alignment. Now it really is just heating up the metal, not the rod, and then getting it in place. So let's do that. Alright, so it took it about 10 minutes to heat up this metal to get it where I wanted it to be. But this is our joint from brazing. It's going to be strong enough. It's not as even on the backside as I would like it to be, but I fully planned on grinding down the brazing side so that it's more even, more symmetrical as I go through. It's not going to be perfect, but that's just one of the results of doing it by yourself. So I showed you one. I'm going to do all the other ones off camera because it's going to take up a lot of memory and it's a lot more for me to edit, and I don't feel like it. Alright guys, the frame is all brazed together. I'm still going to need to go through and grind all these corners down, but we're off to a very good start, and once we get that done, then we get to work on mounting it, which I'm kind of figuring out as I go. So we'll go to that point. Alright guys, after a bunch of grinding and a lot of ear ringing. I got the frame to the point where I want it. It's not perfect by any means, but it's close enough, and I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to Herculine it, or Rhino-line it, or Raptor-line it. One of those liners, I think I'm going to do that on the finished project, just so I don't have to worry about paint chipping, and so that it matches the rest of my truck. Hi guys, welcome back. I went and picked up some more aluminum stock because I finally finalized the design for this thing and the size I wanted to do and everything. So I had a jury amongst my peers on what I should do, and they all kind of agreed on the same one. So I'm gonna show you that. We're gonna do some cuts, do some brazing, get the structure finalized, and then we'll get those mounts on. Okay, so I went to the welding supply store and I got 2 pieces of 20-inch cut because it's easier for them to do it than it is for me. Those are gonna go right there. We're gonna do a 45-degree angle cut on either end of those, and that's gonna be that. Then I got some 10 1/4, which are gonna fit right in here. This one's gonna need a little bit more grinding, and I think that one as well, but I'd rather have more than I need than less. Then we're gonna do 2 45-degree cuts there. Eventually, we're gonna put an LED strip on either side here, but for now we're just gonna stick to the LED lights. I don't know if I brought those up yet. I might be giving away more than I was supposed to. But we're gonna put some things here and here to kind of tie everything together. So let's get these cut, get it brazed, make it happen, Captain. Welcome back. I kind of have a nasty habit of saying I'm going to do something and then doing something else beforehand, because honestly I'm making this up as I go. This is the first time I've made something like this. I'm just kind of documenting it for you guys if you want to do something similar. But I realized I'm going to be drilling holes for the lights and for the accent bolts that I'm putting on here, and I figured that while I still have it flat and unobstructed, that would be the best time for me to do all that drilling. So that's what we're gonna do next. I have 4 holes to be drilled on each of the center pieces, and those are 4 inches apart. Then all around the border, these are on the top and bottom, they're 4 inches apart as well. And on the sides, I have these 2 right here. These are also 4 inches apart. And then the corner bolts are all centered in the corner of the grill. So we're gonna get those done, drilled, all that good stuff, and then I'll get the mounts done. I promise. I promise. Alright, so we got all the holes drilled all the way through. We got a 1/4 inch on the outer frame. That way we can fit in these 1/4 inch Allen head bolts. I thought about going with a traditional hex bolt style, but those are just a little too much, and you know, these things are all about the details. So we went with the rounded Allen head 1/4 inch bolts there. And these lights right here, I got off the Amazon, and those are what's going in right here. That's also why, and obviously it's gonna sit down more when that bolt's not on the back of it, but that's also why we went with the 1.25 inch accent piece right here. So now that we have all the drills pulled, wow. Now that we have all the holes drilled, we're gonna grind it down, bend it, and then we can get those mounts on. Now we have all the holes drilled on the new grill, and it's bent to the shape of the front of the Blazer. So next we have the mounts. We're gonna make it super simple, and we're just gonna use the old grill as our template, and we're gonna mark it off. One of these is in the center, and then we have one here and here on each side. We're just going to mark it up with a permanent marker and put those to the center of the mounts there, and it'll be an easy day. Alright guys, time for a quick update. So I'm working on the mounts as we speak, and I went with a different design. The ones that I did, there was just a lot of brazing material, so when I tried to mount them up, it would just melt the brazing material all over again, and I realized I wanted something that was going to hold a little bit better. So rather than doing that initial design, this is what I came up with. This is an 1.5 inch angled aluminum. It's only a 1/16 inch, but I have it holding on all 3 sides, and then once everything's dried, I'm going to put it back to the top. I did it this way so that I get a better hold on the mounts themselves. That way, you know, peace of mind in case anything happens. And then I ran out of propane, so I went and I got myself some MAP gas. It doesn't burn as consistently as propane will, but it burns hotter, and because I'm impatient, hotter gas means metal heats up faster, means I'm not out here in the cold as long. So I figured we'll go with that. So that's the update for the mounts. Next time you see me, I'm gonna have the mounts on the tops and the bottoms all done so that we can see. Alright, I've got it cooling right now. I just finished the last mount, and I'm really excited to be done brazing. Not that it's a bad system by any means, it's just more suited for repairs. This is a pretty big project to braze. If I had welded it with aluminum, I could have been done with this in easily just a few hours, minus, you know, painting and all that stuff. But it takes like each one of these mounts, and there's 8 of them, took about 10 minutes just to heat up the metal to be able to braze it. And then we have the corners and then the side and top and bottom pieces that I did, and it takes a long time to get all of that heated up. If you can weld something like this together, it's gonna be much better for you, whether you're welding aluminum or doing it in steel. So once this cools off, we're gonna go through and grind up some of the ones that aren't looking as good as I would like them to, and then we've got a couple of holes to drill on right, this one and this one, because they're covering the holes that I put on the frame. So it won't be too bad, and then we can start working with the actual aluminum mesh. So super excited for that. Alright, we are finally at the part where we get to break out the expanded aluminum. Got my 10 snips, and this, the largest I could find width-wise was 4 feet. So it's going to be basically just the right size for our usage. But when we lay it in here, yep, it is just barely spanning that portion. Or it just barely spans the opening area, which is fine. But the nice thing is once we get this cut up, this is actually going to add a little bit of rigidity, not a ton, but a little bit of rigidity to our grill, making it just that much stronger. And I'll take what I can get. Alright guys, so this is what we started with the stock grill that's been painted and broken and abused, and that's what we had, and now this is what we built. Definitely an improvement. I'm super excited to put this on to the truck, but not going to do that in this video. I'm going to do that one in the next one once we get it painted, because I'm doing an entire front fascia swap. So if you guys want to see that, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know even though the brazing was tedious, I really enjoyed putting this together. Y'all have fun, be safe, make good choices. Have a great day.